Hey there, I am JB, and for today, well, I guess the title can describe it better for me. You can see I got a couple of chests right down here. I've been doing a little bit of camera work. I cannot exactly remember where I left off with this, but basically every chest contains some stuff that I'm going to need in order to unlock some of these milestones. So in this case, tier 2, but select this milestone. Add in all of these goodies and let's unlock it.
Milestone reached. Several buildings aimed at factory traversal can now be accessed in the build menu. Caution is recommended during use of these products.
And then we here have chest number 2. You can take all of these goodies and start unlocking some stuff. I think this will be a great start of this episode. Select the milestone and we have to wait for 3.5 minutes. But long story short, this is going to give us a lot more stuff to play around with. We got the jump pad for right now and the U jelly landing pad. Alright, so in this case we're going to unlock the hyper tube.
Milestone reached. Fixit Incorporated has processed and incorporated frequent Pioneer requests for pipe-based personal transport. Introducing Hypertubes. Safe, aesthetic, adaptable, fun. Enjoy a view of your hard work as you soar through incredibly tight turns. Build them today. Note: Fixit Incorporated is not responsible for any harm caused by irresponsible use of this product.
And in this case, chest number 3 only has a couple of things, which is going to be used for the gas mask if I would have this stuff. Now, let me just take a little look here at the MAM system. That stuff which I still do not have. I guess in this case we can just wait a little with that, because I'm going to mess around with the oil stuff. Then I'll just get rid of what we already done. And in this case we got a lot of stuff with computers, which I believe is used for this guy. Indeed, so we're going to get the fuel generator, which is one of the things that I wanted to have for today. We're also going to get new conveyor belt, MK4, and a scanner update on Caterium ore. But just select that and wait 7.5 minutes. Does it get longer? Ah, boy. But in this case, we now have stackable hypertube, hypertube support, hypertube entrance, and hypertube itself. This costs copper sheets. It doesn't cost too much. This is okay. I guess the resources are okay for this stuff. So, and I'm also wondering, you know, could you like have a nice combination of jump pads and hypertubes? What would happen if you shoot out of a hypertube onto a jump pad? Will you just get extra jump it into the air? I wonder. Or maybe you will get shot to bits. We'll figure that out at some point though. Now, before we're going to continue with all of this good stuff, I have been thinking there should be 2 more of these oil nodes right down here, right? And meanwhile I was scanning a certain area, I also discovered there were a lot of nodes right down here. Now, wouldn't it be smart to actually make a new power station right down here using all of those nodes, rather than making new power station only using 2 nodes, and then it's like, oh, I need some more oil stuff, let's take a couple nodes here, and then the ones that are left for the power. It's going to be a bit messy, and I think it would be way better to have all of the good stuff together in one area, right? That would make sense. I am going to assume there will be some more oil nodes here in the desert, which basically means if I just run to this area down here, put down a oil extractor and a refinery, I could get some of that blue stuff that I need in order to unlock one of the other things, like the gas mask. Time to unlock the next thing.
Milestone reached. The fuel generator will match power generation to the increased consumption of recently acquired technologies and buildings. Additionally, improved conveyor belts and lifts can now be constructed. Caterium scanning unlocked.
Alright, let's take a little look right over here, which is the fuel generator, which is the first thing. This guy consumes fuel to generate electricity for the power grid, has a pipe input so the fuel supply can be automated. Caution, always generators at the set clock speed shuts down if you... Yeah, okay, that's a little bit logic. Now, the downside is I'm going to have computers. Maybe a downside. I don't have any automation for that just yet. Anything else is not too big of a deal, I guess. It's a bit of a problem though, because I would like to set up more factories, but I'm also running out of power. And one of the important things would be this guy down here, which needs screws, industrial beams, steel pipes, and modular frame. I can sit here for an hour and just create as much as possible, which is not too bad of a thing to do in the end. And the other thing that I'm going to need is a lot of computers once again. Right down here, this needs circuit boards, which is just plastic and copper sheets, cable, plastic, and screws. Not a problem at all. Now I got some stuff right down here. Let's see what that is used for. And I'll guess. Ooh. Okay, for the monorail technology, I'm going to need also computers and this heavy stuff. I'll guess, now it makes sense, like I was saying before, that I didn't know where I left off with. I think I left off with trying to get as much stuff for that as possible. For now, I'm just going to store it here. I'm going to do everything what I need in one hit. And then this stuff is being used for pipeline engineering MK2. But I'm just going to assume these guys can handle more volume of stuff. And then we have this guy, is the head lift, which instead of, I believe, 10 meters, it does 50 meters upwards. So let's select this milestone, and I'm going to wait 11 minutes. Alright, so in this case, I am going to need to have a lot more plastic in order to do what I need to do. But for now, we can actually unlock this guy right down here.
Milestone reached. Improved pipelines and pumps can now be constructed, capable of handling increased throughput of any fluid, as well as providing increased pressure handling for better vertical transport, respectively.
Alright, beautiful. We now finally have conveyor belt MK4, which we can upgrade a lot of stuff that we are going to need. For example, for the screw factory, but I'm not going to do that right away. We also have this beautiful lift. We got the new pipelines. Also very good. We can use that for our new fuel generator. Alright, you guys get the heck out of here. Right, one of these, please. One of them, thank you. You guys stay nice, okay? Alright, so if I'm not wrong, we're going to need to have raw stuff, right? Yeah, okay, raw stuff. And then we can make, yeah, the polymer resin type of deal. Beautiful. Let's plant one of these guys down. Right, fantastic. We should get some of that good stuff. 3 already. I believe I needed 100, so I hope I will make it. If not, I can always, what to say, put up a fluid buffer, but ooh, those are expensive. Which I'm also going to need to have the heavy modular frame for, so I'm just going to do it with this guy, and I should be able to make it. Oh no. Oh. Okay, okay. You know what? I think I've mistaken myself that right down here is actually coal rather than oil. So let me just check it out. Yep. Okay, yeah. But we have some stuff right down there. Is that it? I think we just found oil here. Okay, we found a piece of oil. Okay, there are at least 4 of these in this area. One is right around here. One is right behind this area, which is down there, which is not too big of a problem. And then one of them is all the way over there, which also not too much of a problem. Alright, so I highlighted all of these so I know Slash is where to go. This guy is actually right down here. I thought it was a lot further away. Now the other one, I hope it's just on an island-like type deal. For this guy, it seems like there's a ramp that I can use to go down, which is positive. And I'm going to need to take care to bring enough stuff with me, because right down here I'm going to need to build the very first factory of this area, I'm meant to say. Alright, so I am going to get some stuff. There is a node over behind me with concrete, but there is a lot of these gas plants, which is a bad idea. So I'm going to need to bring explosives, a lot of concrete, basically everything, and or then bring heavy modular frames and computers. And then we're going to set up a powerful new power factory, and with that we can also start looking for a nice spot for heavy modular frames and computers. Alright, and I'm also thinking that it might going to be very handy if I'm going to start to look for a place to make like a little base. So which I basically mean we need to have like a highway to a spot, power to a spot, and conveyor belt to a spot, which the Mark IV is coming in very handy. And with this conveyor belt, what I can do is, with my other home base, I can just place a large container and then put a lot of stacks of stuff into the container, and then the container will slowly but surely release all of the stuff onto the conveyor belt, which then will be sent out to the outpost. So I don't have to go for miles and miles and miles each and every time when I need something. And or we also going to have a conveyor belt back to this home base, so we can bring like modular frames and computers, which I think we're going to need to find a good spot for this, which is not going to be close to where we have our home base. Oh god, bad idea. Ooh, bad idea, bad idea. That were a lot of plants, and I'm not watching what I'm doing. Like, this is the whole thing. Every time I need to get back, I am just randomly driving somewhere, and the highway is going to be very handy, right? Now this highway is also going to be a bit of a fun project, because we're going to keep in mind that this highway also has some spot for the trains. So it's going to be a highway for everything, and we're going to need to make blueprints. Oh well, what do I see? Go, already grabbed this stuff. Oh, that would be too obvious, right? What is this? Oh, rotors. No, I don't have any rotors. Is this heavy? The heck is going on over there? You know what I'm saying? Why is it looks like it is packed in or whatever? This is odd.
Picking up multiple fixes.
Now, what I'm thinking about is, there are always spots which are just a little bit higher, and that will force me to go up, right? And I'm talking about these highway that we're going to need to make. So I'm thinking what we could do, since this is pretty much close to yes, is trying to follow this area to get there, right? Maybe make like a split up. Now there is also a lot of space right down here. There's some space here. I am going to need to figure out what I want to do with that extra home base type of deal. Right, let's see. We got enough of that. Now we can continue again, which I guess it cannot go further than 200. Now, for the love of God, let it be 200. I'm going to take some plastic. I'm going to, make a lot more computers. Let's see if we can finally unlock the monorail. I discovered the very first problem. The problem is, since these containers are all filled up with fuel, and that guy over there is filled up with fuel, which basically means we're not generating any more plastic, which is really bad. And I guess this is one of the fun thing of the whole oil stuff, is that you're going to need to figure something out in order to drop this stuff away. We're really going to need the highway. So why I'm saying that is because I think what we could do is, unless I'm thinking to make like a sink for now, and let this drop all of that good stuff into a sink. It's making plastics again. Look, holy moly. I'm already amazed with what I'm doing, but then you got this YouTuber, I believe it's called Gibbets. This guy creates like 1 million points per minute and a lot of other stuff, 1 million per minute. It's crazy how big his production lines are and how much he creates. But you know what? I'm happy with this, because we're gonna get a well, I'd say a ton of tickets out of it, but it's going pretty quick. Okay, once it's empty, I'll just disconnect it and then we can just fill it up again. Those are 25 fabrics, and now I'm going to unlock this guy, which I'm now wondering, why did I need that? Oh, fabric, synthetic polyester fabric. I get the deal there. So we don't need to make use of these plants and bushes for that, and or have to go into the cave, which is quite a thing if you need a lot of that stuff. I don't understand. I really don't. I don't see this recipe in stuff. I feel like an idiot. Could have just unlocked this. Okay, now it makes sense why I couldn't craft it, because it needs to be made in a refinery. Then it needs the polymer stuff and water stuff together in order to make. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But it doesn't take away that I could have just crafted 50 of those and unlocked the gas mask. Well, anyways, I'm glad it is done, so let's just unlock this stuff and move on.
Milestone reached. Gas masks and filter parts will ensure increased odds of survival in gas-based hazardous environments. Fixit Incorporated would like to extend the friendly advice to not forget to change filters regularly.
And so it is time that I'm going to take everything out of this chest, and we are going to unlock the last thing that we can do, and that is the monorail train technology. There we go. Yes, so many tiers in one episode. Wow, how about that?
Milestone reached. A new set of buildings and vehicles needed for long-range transportation has been made available. In addition to built-in power conduction, rails-based transit ensures increased efficiency and reliability for both the transport of pioneers and cargo.
That will be that. Okay, let's take a little look, because I wonder what is all need. Transport. Ooh, look at all this stuff. So we have this guy, which we're going to need to have computers for. The electric or locomotive. It's used to move freight cars station to station, required between 25 and 110 megawatts of power. That is a lot. Must be built on a railway. We have a freight car which can move all kinds of stuff depending on the resource. Okay, I see. But then we have a train station, and set to drive and stop at the train station. You can connect power to the train station to power up the trains on the railway, as well as transport the power to other stations. We have a freight platform, which we can load and unload stuff. We have a fluid freight platform. The unload option. That okay, so I guess this can move fluids. We have an empty platform. We need to create some empty space. We have a empty platform with a catwalk. We got the railway, which just costs one pipe and one new bar. We have this guy. Train signals is going to be a lot of fun. This is a block signal. And then we have a path signal. Block signals can be placed on the railways to create blocks between each other. When a train is occupying such a block, other trains will be unable to enter it. Oh god, caution. Signals are directional. Trains are unable to move against this direction. I see. Path signals are advanced signals that are especially useful for bi-directional railways. So I get it. So this one is for one way, this one is for two ways, which makes sense. And also here for this stuff we need computers. There's a lot of computers, a lot of electric circuits. Oh boy, I'm going to need to do some stuff before we can do some stuff. So it's getting a little bit messy at this point, but basically what I need to do as first ASAP is set up a whole new power station. Then from this power station we can set up a whole new factory for computers, circuit boards and heavy modular frames. Once we fix that, we can start doing the train stuff, once we set up the train stuff, we can also make things like turbo fuel and whatever I needed in this area. Now before, I was actually saying that I wanted to make like a highway, right? It's gonna go something like this and something like that. But I had to think about something that I have been saying in the past, and in the past I have been saying that I needed to set up a factory right down here, which also creates all the stuff that we got right down here. The only difference is that from that point of on, we can split those production lines up to the areas where we're going to need that stuff. So the one we're going to need, for an example, is we need something right down here. So there will be 1 or 2 or 3 transport bands moving a couple of pieces to this area. For this area, we're all going to need containers. From that point of on, we can just fill up and build whatever is needed in this area. Also, this stuff is going to be transported to an area, for example, right down here. So from this area right down here, we can make everything that is needed in this area. And from this area to this area. I hope that makes a bit of sense. So I'll guess the title for today's episode will be unlocking so many tiers. And then what we have to do for the next episode is, we're going to need to make at least the power station. And with the power station, we can also power our project that we're going to build down here, which is going to need to be transported to other locations. I could make something down here and transport it there, but I think it's going to be way handy to have a whole new section down here. If we're not going to make something like this, I would like to make one gigantic factory where all of the stuff is being made. Nothing is going to be sent to the sink because everything needs to be transported to a couple different locations. Oh man, there is so much stuff that we are going to need to do. It is absolutely insane. Well, at least we are making some good progress. I'm going to take a look at the oil refinery area to see how much plastic I got, because I'm going to need to have a lot to prepare for the next episode. Alright, is this thing emptied out? It is emptied out. That means you're going to disconnect this guy. And before disconnecting this guy, we made 2 extra coupons this episode, but with the rate of how fast that went, ooh,